On March 10th every year, Tibetan monks in Dharamsala, India mark a sad anniversary. They remember the day 49 years ago that the Dalai Lama was forced to flee into exile. But as he leaves this ceremony, the young Turks who challenge him take center stage, even a few who question the success of the non-violent way.
And I urge, once again, every single Tibetan to rise up.
But Sundu and his army of marching monks remain committed to the path of peace and will now put their training to the test as they start their trek to Tibet.
With the beautiful smile and the composed face of the monks peacefully walking, this silence is the one that is actually challenging China.
But they're also challenging the Dalai Lama, who's repeatedly said that he doesn't oppose the Beijing Olympics. Do you support the marches that are being planned from here, Dharamsala, to Tibet?
Right from the beginning, we fully committed about democracy, freedom of expression, freedom of movement. It is morally wrong to stop them, but sometimes you see they too much enthusiasm, too much sort of emotion.
That enthusiasm and emotion are about to pit these exiles against the Indian police, who soon tell the marchers they can't even leave this state.
I think they may be getting some pressure from China, but I am not scared. I'm determined to go on, no matter what.
That same night, Monk Gyatso's determination is bolstered by news from inside Tibet.
I heard hundreds of monks in Tibet protested today, and some were badly beaten. The reason for their protest is exactly the same as ours.
At the end of another day, their spirits are as high as ever. But every night of camping, every day of marching, brings them closer to the state line, the one the Indian government said they couldn't cross. Tenzin Sundu was the first to be arrested. Every one of the 100 marchers was taken away by the Indian police. The monks chanted their prayers and maintained their discipline and stayed non-violent, just as they were trained to. After their release, the monks continued walking for another 100 days before they were stopped again within sight of Tibet. Organizers declared the march over, but a small group, including Monk Gyatso, vowed to continue their movement. Inside Tibet, the peaceful protest took an ominous turn. On March 14th, roving bands of Tibetan youth attacked Chinese residents of Lhasa and torched their businesses. 18 civilians and a police officer were killed, according to Chinese reports. The uprising spread like wildfire throughout the Tibetan plateau. The Chinese government appeared stunned, but it soon cracked down harshly, firing on protesters. China denies killing anyone, but Tibet's government in exile claims over 200 people died. These are some of the victims, say human rights monitors. The Chinese insisted the Dalai Lama's group instigated the riots, but offered no proof. The Dalai Lama denied their charge and was distraught.
If violence becomes out of control, then only my option is resign.
The monks we talked to after the riots said they disagreed with those who turned to violence, but said they could understand why they had. In May, China was struck by a massive earthquake and almost 70,000 people were killed. The world's press, including CNN, were allowed to cover the disaster. But our repeated request to travel to Tibet for this report or to interview Chinese officials in Beijing, Washington, or right here at the United Nations have been denied. The Olympic torch did make it to Tibet, and officials there said public order has been restored. The Dalai Lama's people told us Tibet is under a climate of terror. This sad eulogy for the Tibetan people was sung by these young women while they were in prison, where they say they were beaten and sent to solitary confinement for their defiant devotion to the Dalai Lama.
And with all of this, you prayed for the Chinese gods.
They are humans like us, and life is too short to spend it inflicting harm and leading such sinful lives. If you show compassion for others, you become a happier person. So I prayed for them.
The Dalai Lama believes his most powerful weapons are compassion and kindness, even in the face of overwhelming odds.
We are fully committed about non-violent way, real Buddhist ideology. That means everything interdependent, interconnected. So if you harm other, you get suffering. If you help other, you get benefit. You get happiness. So that's the essence of Buddhism.
What did you feel when you saw the Dalai Lama here?
I felt so happy to see His Holiness, and then I thought of all the Tibetans in prison and outside who prays to see him every day. Now, whenever I see His Holiness, I see the people of Tibet.